$500 a month. That's it. That's the entire plan. No lottery ticket, no risky bets, no inheritance, no six-figure salary required. Just $500 a month invested the right way for long enough, and you end up a millionaire. Now, I know that sounds like one of those too good to be true promises you see all over the internet. So let me be clear up front. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's the opposite. It's a get-rich-slowly plan, and it's based on math that has worked for over a century. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how $500 a month becomes $1 million, the timeline it takes, where to put the money, and the small adjustments that can shave years off the journey. This is the most realistic path to a seven-figure net worth that exists for an ordinary person. Let's break it down. The math that makes it work. Let's start with the part that sounds impossible and prove that it isn't. $500 a month is $6,000 a year. If you just stuffed that under your mattress, after 30 years, you'd have $180,000. Solid savings, but nowhere near $1 million. So how does $180,000 of contributions turn into $1 million? One word: compounding. When you invest that money, instead of letting it sit, it earns a return. And then those returns earn returns. Over time, your money starts generating far more growth than your contributions do. Here's the timeline using an 8% average annual return, which is a reasonable long-term expectation for a diversified stock market portfolio. Investing $500 a month at 8%, you cross $1 million at around the 36 to 37 year mark. Let that sink in. If you start at 30, you're a millionaire by your mid-60s, right around traditional retirement age. If you start at 25, you get there before 62. If you start at 22, you could hit it before 60. And here's the part that surprises everyone. Of that $1 million, only about $220,000 came from your own pocket. The other $780,000, that was generated by compounding. Your money did roughly 4 times more work than you did. That's not a trick. That's just what happens when you give good math enough time. Why $500 is the sweet spot? You might be wondering why $500 specifically. Why not 100? Why not 1,000? The answer is that $500 a month sits right at the intersection of meaningful and achievable. $100 a month is a great start, and it absolutely builds wealth, but it takes longer to reach $1 million, often closer to 48 to 50 years, which is a long runway for most people. $1,000 a month gets you there much faster, but for a lot of households, finding an extra $1,000 every single month is genuinely difficult, especially in the beginning. $500 hits the balance. For many people, it's an amount you can reach with some intentional effort, trimming expenses or redirecting wasteful spending, maybe adding a small side income, and it's large enough that the compounding really does the heavy lifting within a normal working lifetime. And here's something important. You don't have to start at 500. If you can only do 200 today, start there. The plan still works. You just scale up to 500 over time as your income grows. The number isn't sacred, the consistency is. Step 1, pick the right account. Before you invest a single dollar, you need to decide where that money is going to live, and this choice matters more than people realize because the right account can save you tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes over the life of this plan. Here's the priority order for most people. First, if you have access to a workplace retirement plan with an employer match, like a 401k or 403b, contribute at least enough to get the full match. The match is free money, an instant return that beats anything else you can do. If your employer matches a portion of your 500, that's part of your plan working even harder. Second, a Roth IRA. This is one of the most powerful wealth building accounts available. You contribute money you've already paid taxes on, and then it grows completely tax-free for the rest of your life. When you withdraw it in retirement, you owe nothing. On $1 million balance, tax-free growth is an enormous advantage. The annual contribution limit is currently $7,000, which works out to about $580 a month. So a $500 a month plan fits almost entirely inside a Roth IRA. Third, if you've maxed those out or don't have access to them, a regular taxable brokerage account works perfectly fine. No contribution limits, full flexibility, you just pay taxes on gains along the way. For most people running this exact plan, a Roth IRA is the ideal home for the $500 a month. Open one at any major brokerage. It takes about 10 minutes online. Links are in the description. Step 2. Buy the right investment. Now, the account is just the container. The investment is what actually grows, and this is where people overcomplicate things and talk themselves out of starting. Here's the simple truth. For the vast majority of people, the best investment for this plan is a low-cost, broad market index fund. An index fund is a single investment that holds hundreds or thousands of companies all at once. When you buy a total stock market index fund or an S&P 500 index fund, you instantly own a tiny slice of the biggest companies in the economy, all in one purchase for almost no fee. Why is this the right choice? A few reasons. First, diversification. You're not betting on one company. You own the whole market, so if any single company fails, it barely moves your portfolio. The risk is spread across everything. Second, low fees. A good index fund charges almost nothing, often around 3 to 4 cents per $100 per year. Compare that to actively managed funds that charge a full dollar or more per hundred, and over 36 years, that fee difference alone can cost you well over $100,000. Third, performance. This is the part that shocks people. The vast majority of professional money managers, people who do this full-time with teams and research budgets, fail to beat a simple index fund over the long run. More than 85 to 90% of them underperform it over a 20-year period. If the professionals can't beat the index, you don't need to try. You just buy the index and win by default. So your investment, in plain terms, put your $500 a month into a total market index fund or an S&P 500 index fund and let it ride. That's the engine of this entire plan. Step 3, automate it completely. Here's the step that separates the people who actually become millionaires from the people who just watch videos about it. Automate the entire thing. Set up an automatic transfer of $500 from your checking account into your investment account on the same day every month, ideally right after you get paid. Then set the account to automatically invest that money into your index fund. Why does this matter so much? Because it removes the two things that destroy investment plans: willpower and emotion. When investing is a decision you have to make every month, you'll eventually skip it. Something will come up. You'll tell yourself you'll double up next month. And slowly, the plan falls apart. When investing happens automatically, before you ever see the money, it becomes invisible. You adjust your life to the amount that's left, the same way you adjust to a paycheck after taxes. The 500 just disappears into your future, quietly building month after month, whether the market is up, down, or sideways. This also solves the emotional problem. When the market drops, and it will many times over 36 years, automation keeps you buying, and buying during downturns is exactly how you accelerate wealth, because you're purchasing more shares while they're cheap. The automated investor stays calm because they're not making decisions. The manual investor panics and stops. Automation wins. Step 4, leave it alone. This is the simplest step and somehow the hardest. Once the plan is running, your job is to do almost nothing. Do not check it every day. Do not move your money around chasing better returns. Do not sell when the news is scary. Do not stop contributing when the market drops. Over 36 years, you will live through multiple market crashes. You'll see your balance drop by 20, 30, even 40% at times. Every one of those moments will feel like a reason to panic, and every single time in history, the market has eventually recovered and gone on to new highs. The people who reach $1 million aren't the ones who react brilliantly during crashes, they're the ones who don't react at all. They keep their automatic contributions running, they don't look too often, and they let time do its work. There's a famous finding from a major brokerage that studied which of their accounts performed best over time. The top performers were the accounts of people who had forgotten they even had them, or who had passed away and left the accounts untouched. No trading, no tinkering, no emotion, just time and consistency. That's the whole secret, and it costs nothing but patience. The timeline, what each starting age looks like. Let's get specific about what this plan produces depending on when you start, because the starting point changes everything. If you start at 25 and invest $500 a month at 8%, by 65, you'll have roughly $1.75 million. 40 years of compounding produces almost double the million mark. If you start at 30, by 65, you'll have roughly $1.15 million. If you start at 35, by 65, you'll have roughly $750,000. Still life-changing, but notice how much that 10-year delay from 25 cost you, a full $1 million of difference from the exact same monthly contribution. If you start at 40, by 65, you'll have roughly $470,000. To reach the full $1 million by 65 from the starting point, you'd need to invest closer to $1,000 a month or plan to work a few years longer. The lesson in these numbers is loud and clear. The single biggest factor in this entire plan is not the amount, it's the time. Starting earlier is worth more than investing more. A person who starts at 25 with 500 a month ends up far ahead of someone who starts at 40 with twice as much. Time is the most powerful lever you have, which means the best moment to start was years ago, and the second best moment is today. How to find the $500 if it feels impossible. For some people, $500 a month is doable right now. For others, it sounds out of reach. So let's talk about where it can actually come from, because it's often closer than you think. Start with subscriptions. The average household spends far more on recurring subscriptions than they realize. Streaming services, apps, memberships they forgot about. Auditing these often frees up $50 to $150 a month immediately. A look at food spending. Cutting back on delivery and takeout by even a few orders a month can free up $100 to $200. You don't have to stop entirely, just shift the balance toward eating at home a bit more. Examine transportation. If you're financing an expensive vehicle, that single payment might be the thing standing between you and this plan. Driving something more modest can free up hundreds a month. And on the earning side, a small side income changes the math fast. Picking up even a few $100s a month from freelance work, weekend gigs, or selling things you no longer use can cover a large chunk of the $500 without touching your main budget at all. You don't have to find the entire $500 in one place. 50 here, 100 there, a small side income, it adds up. And remember, you can start with less and build up. The goal is to start the engine now, then feed it more fuel as you go. The adjustments that supercharge the plan. Once the basic plan is running, there are a few simple moves that can dramatically accelerate your results. The first is increasing your contribution over time. Every time you get a raise, bump up your monthly investment. If you go from 500 to 600 to 800 over the years as your income grows, you don't just reach $1 million faster, you blow past it. Even small annual increases compound into hundreds of thousands of extra dollars. The second is reinvesting everything. Make sure any dividends your investments pay out are automatically reinvested, not paid out as cash. This keeps the compounding engine running at full power. The third is simply extending the timeline. If you can keep the plan running a few extra years, say to 67 or 70 instead of 65, the final years produce staggering growth, because that's when the curve is steepest. Working and investing just 3 extra years can add hundreds of thousands to the final number. None of these require a higher income or special knowledge. They just require letting the plan run and feeding it a little more whenever you can. Here's the bottom line on the $500 a month plan. Becoming a millionaire is not reserved for people with high salaries, special connections, or lucky breaks. For an ordinary person with an ordinary income, the math is shockingly simple. Invest $500 a month into a low-cost index fund, inside a tax-advantaged account automatically, and leave it alone for a few decades. The reason most people never do it isn't that the plan is hard to understand, but it's slow and it's boring, and it requires patience in a world that sells excitement. There's no thrill in buying the same index fund every month for 36 years, but that boredom is exactly why it works. The people who get rich from this plan are the ones who are willing to be patient, while everyone else is chasing the next exciting thing and losing money doing it. You don't need to be smarter than everyone else. You don't need to time the market. You don't need to pick the perfect stock. You just need to start, automate it, and refuse to quit. Time and consistency will do the rest. $1 million, $500 at a time. It's not magic. It's just math, patience, and a decision you can make today. If this plan gave you a clear path forward, do me a favor and subscribe. Net Worth Nation is built for people who are done feeling like wealth is out of reach and ready to follow a plan that actually works, starting from wherever they are right now. Drop a comment below. What age are you starting this plan at, and what's your target number? Putting it in writing makes it real, and the people who comment are far more likely to actually follow through. And if you know someone who thinks becoming a millionaire is impossible for regular people, share this video with them. The math might change their entire life. You can do this, $500 at a time. I'll see you in the next one. Let's build.